So in our previous video, we were discussing how a cloud kitchen business model works, and we were exploring the data, sample data of cloud kitchen in Excel for some KPIs and metrics. So in this video, we'll be looking over the same thing, but we'll be doing a different set of questions. So let me quickly go back to the data. So in this data, we have the order ID column, the kitchen name. How it works is, if I'm a customer with a customer ID, this name, I have ordered three things: cheese popper, 7-Up, and ultimate the Wook sandwich. I have one order ID, and I have ordered from a restaurant which is brand 4, which is the brand name of the restaurant, through a partner 1. So they are food delivery partners. So through a partner 1, I have ordered it. And the cloud kitchen where the chefs are preparing has a name of called Whitefield. And I have given an order on 14th May at 6:16 p.m. and it took some time to prepare it. So now what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to answer this. So currently we have certain metrics where we had calculated uh, how many number of orders were there for each partner, for each brand through different methods and calculate the most popular item. Now we'll be working on these questions regarding the time. So the first question here is which kitchen takes the longest and the shortest time to prepare? So let's go back to the sales data. So now whenever I come over here, uh, I calculate the time difference in minutes. So let me just quickly explain you this part. So the first thing is I need to see how much time this particular order is taking. So I'll just create equal to, I'll just click on this prepare date and do subtraction with the order date. So when I do this, I get a value of 0.02. So a difference in Excel between the dates works in term and gives the answer in days. So if I have today and yesterday, I will get one as the answer because today minus yesterday is 1 day. But now as this is a timestamp and we're taking some value time difference. So due to this reason, it gives a value in day. Now, if I want to convert a day into a minute format. So like 1 day will have 24 hours and each hour will have 60 minutes. So I'll have 1440 minutes. So I'll just multiply this into 1440. So I get 32 minutes. So I'll be trying to use the same thing. So I'll be using this value minus this value. And let me just put this into brackets. And I'll be multiplying 1440 into this particular. So I get this in minutes. So I'll just name this time difference in minutes. And let me just format this out. So for formatting, I'll just use the shortcut keyboard called Alt-HK, which will give me in numbers with the 2 decimal places over here. So I'll just copy this and go down and paste it till the top. So now I have the time difference here in minutes for each item and order. Mostly this time difference is only for the order and not for each item because this is aggregated based on this. So now my first question is, what is the time difference for each kitchen? So what I'll do is I'll just create a pivot table. So the first thing is I'll just select the data. I've selected the whole column and I've selected the whole column using a shortcut keyboard called Control Spacebar, and then I'm holding Control and clicking on Shift and right to select the complete data. And I'll just click on Insert and insert a pivot table here and then a new worksheet. I'll just name this kitchen time. Ignore the typos. So now I'll just create a pivot table with the kitchen name. So what I'll do is I'll just put the kitchen name over here and I'll put the order order ID. So here I know for each kitchen name, I have one order ID over here. What I'll do, I'll just get the time now. So time difference in minutes, I have it over here. By default, the pivot table gives the sum, or depending on the value, it will do the calculation. What we want here that for each order, we have time difference being repeated. So for this particular case, what we'll be doing, we'll just right click over this and we'll summarize it by max or min or average. Anything works because the value is anyways the same. So I just click on max and I've got to know that for this particular order, it took this many minutes, 7 point something. So now if you notice, just scanning through the data, I notice one outlier over here, which is this particular order in Silicon OSS. So this particular order ID has some very huge time difference. Let's check this. So I'll just copy this and find it over here. So what I'll do, I'll just press Control Spacebar and do Control F to find the order ID. So I've got the order ID over here. Now my next thing is I want to filter using this order ID. So there are different ways to filter. I'll just be exploring one quicker way. I'll just right click over here and go to this section called filter and filter the selected cell's value. So when I do this, it automatically filters the data for this particular cell. And if you notice, there's a outlier over here where we have an order rate of 15 May, but this is something very different. So there are different ways to clean this data. Either you can use the average method where you can take the average of the time difference for each order and use the same time difference over here to take the new prepared date, or else you can add some guesses according to you, or maybe you can delete the record. So for this purpose, what I'll do, I'll just stay safe and delete the record. Good. Now, once I delete the record, I need to update the pivot table. So it has gone over here. So here I have these orders and there's the max time difference in minutes. So now if I want to calculate the average of this, I have one way where to format the pivot table in a way where I can calculate an average if. So I'll go to design and I'll go to the report layout and click here and let me put this particular thing. Okay, great. So here I have the pivot table formatted in this way. Now I can use this for any calculation. So now for getting the unique kitchen names, I'll take the kitchen names from this table. I'll go to the kitchen time sheet. I'll just paste it over here and just remove the duplicates by clicking the by using the shortcut key Alt AM and I click on OK. Once I do, I know that these are different kitchen names over here. And here I need to basically add what is the average of the time difference. So for this purpose, we'll be using a function called average if yes. So average if basically checks that I want to take the average only when only when the mole is certain mole, let's say. And if I use if s, I can use this function again to see this, but I can give a multiple set of conditions. So here I can use average if or if s, anything works. So here I'll do average if. So my average range would be this particular column. My criteria range would be that I want it for each kitchen, and my criteria would be the kitchen name. So when I give this, I get this particular value and I can just control V over here and I get the average kitchen time, average preparation time for this particular kitchen. So now let's take an example how to verify this. There's a big mall over here and it has two orders and it is taking 7 minutes and 18 minutes. So if I take these two into consideration, there's a section on the bottom of Excel where it shows the average. So if you notice for big mall, I have 12.8 something, and that's what I'm getting over here. So this way is working fine and we are getting the right output. So this is the way how we can take the average of average time to prepare any particular order for a particular kitchen. So let's move to the next question. Now we are trying to see how much time does the most popular item take to prepare in different kitchen location. So here, if you notice, uh, we don't really have uh, anything like preparation for cheese popper. 7 up wouldn't take much time. The wok sandwich might take a little time. So this is the order time and prepare date for the complete order and not for each item. So here it is slightly tricky to get this thing. So we can just generalize this question of taking an average time for each item in that particular order. So if it is taking 32 minutes, we can just divide 3 items by like with 32 minutes so that we can get the time to prepare for each item. Obviously, that's not the correct way, but here we are just taking an average of time taken for that. So for this purpose, we need to know how many number of items are there in a particular order. So we just put that item in items per order. We'll just put this and we'll just count. We'll just use a counter function. We'll take the range, which is in the order ID. We'll just select the order ID and we'll take the criteria for this particular order itself. So it will check that in this whole column of A, how many times this order ID is appearing. So when I do this, it shows me it has been 3. And what I'll do, I'll just copy this and paste it till the end. So items per order I have received, I'll just divide this by this number. So now I have these two things. What I'll be calculating is items. This would be the average time taken to prepare each item in an order. So in this case, we get the average time to prepare each order. We'll just copy paste this complete formula in all the rows. So we got have the average time. It will be the same. So we'll take a benchmark of this value to prepare each order. Obviously, that's not correct, but just we are taking an average. So let's do the same thing. So let me just correct this. And what we'll be doing is we'll try to you reuse this sheet itself, and we'll try to see that how much time does it take the popular item to prepare. So let me just take a copy of this. I have the kitchen time for most popular dish. So now I know the popular dish is French fries. So what I'll do, first thing, I'll just filter it for that particular item. So I'll just take the item name over here and put it in filters and just select French fries over here. And change the data source because we haven't added that particular field. So I'll just select column A and move it till column L. Once I do that, I get the new average time taken. I'll just remove this and put this one in the values and just right click and summarize this by maximum of it. So for this particular order, I get to know that this is taking 9 minutes of it. And in Big Mall, if you notice, it is 9.025. So we move to the questions now. So now here our section is how many orders were prepared below and above average time. So for this, what we'll be doing is we'll be reusing the sheet itself. And here we'll just not filter the item name. and just keep only the orders over here. So this is the average time to prepare any order for each item, if you notice. And we'll be looking for the complete order over here. So now let's assume, just remove this, and I'll be taking the time to prepare in difference in minutes for each order. Let me just go here and summarize this by maximum of it. So for this particular order, it takes 10 minutes to prepare. So we'll be doing an average of this particular data. So we get 10.86 minutes it takes on an average. Now we just need to use a counter function how many times this particular, how many orders are above this threshold and below this threshold. So we just use a counter function. So we'll just use a countf and count how many times this complete range is above this particular time. So when we do this, so now if we have to use any conditional like greater than equal to, we'll put it in quotes, and we'll just put it quotes and join it or concatenate it with this value. So once we do this, we get to know that there are 11 orders which have took more than 10.8 minutes. And if you notice, we have total of 33 orders, which is written below. And if you want to know how many orders did within time, then I will just do 33 minus 11. We get 22 orders which have done like within the time, within the average time. And now let's look at the final question, which is distribution of final bill by brand. So if you notice here, we have the sales data, and here we have the final bill. But the final bill is repeated every time. So what we need is, for each brand, what is the final bill? So this is in say, so what we'll be doing is, we'll be taking the maximum final bill and we'll be doing the sum of it. So in this case, we'll be trying to work out like reusing the sheet itself. So I'll just click on that and create a copy of the sheet, and I'll just name this to final bill. And instead of average time, I'll just move this and put the final bill over here. For each order, I need the maximum of that bill amount or minimum, anything works. I'll remove the filter called French fries. This is for each kitchen. I don't want the kitchen, but I need the brand name. So for each brand, I know what is the thing, what is the max of final bill. So I want to know the sum of it. So here we have used an average. If what we'll be doing, we'll be just replacing by sum. But here we don't need the brand, we'll need the brand name. So I'll just put here and I'll put brand underscore one. And we have 4 brands. All right. So here I have the average of the thing, average of the final bill. I'll just replace this with sum if, and I have the uh, total final bill for each brand for each particular order. So I can even do this, or I can even take the brand one total. So I don't even need to do that. I can do a VLOOKUP using this. So now this is one workaround which we have looked. In case you want to try out another method, which is also a simpler one, I can discuss that. So now there's one more method how we can reuse this sheet and calculate all the metrics without a pivot table. Actually, we can do it with the pivot table, but we don't need to do a calculation over a pivot table. So what we'll do, we'll just put a field called unique flag, and what we'll be doing is we'll just put the first value as 1, and then we'll just use a if statement that if our order ID is same as the above one, sorry, is the same of above one, then put 0, else put 1. So here we have, okay, it's A2 and put 0. All right, so here I have the flag which has been which I've created. So for this particular purpose, I'll have to make sure that my order IDs are in a ordered format, like in ascending or descending. I want to make sure that these are grouped up every time. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this because I already know that these are already sorted in a order ID and grouped up together. So if you notice, every order ID is coming together. So I have the unique flag over here. So if I have to do any uh, particular thing from here itself or this section, we can do it using this particular flag. So now let's take an example of final bill amount. So let me just copy this pivot and paste it here. I don't need the order ID over here. I need the brand. And what I can do is instead of max final bill, it will be giving me the sum of all of them, max of all of them. What I'll be doing is I'll just use the flag. So for this, I need to extend the pivot table. I'll just click on change data source again and select all the columns, including the new field which we have there. And we'll just put it over here. So once we do this, we only get the unique values, and instead of max, I'll just come switch this to sum of it. So once I do this, this is also another way where we can work it out. So other question also we can solve it using the unique flag over here. So this is the same data. So this is how we have used the Cloud Kitchen dataset to do some data analysis in Excel, and do try it out for your day-to-day case scenarios. And please like the video if you have learned something, or some feedback would be appreciated in your comments. Thank you for watching the video.